Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. Michael Matt for the Remnant Forum. Just having a lazy Saturday morning with the other Michael Matt this morning. Michael, how are you doing?
Good.
Good? What are you doing today?
Nothing.
Don't you wish Diddy were here?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. We are just getting ready to present a program that my other son, Walter Matt, is doing out in New York with Dr. John Rao concerning the pilgrimage. What are you looking at?
Nothing.
Is that a gun you got there?
Yes.
Let's see that.
This gun.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes.
That is nice. Yeah. Anyway, the pilgrimage to Chartres is coming up. We've said a lot of things about it, and so I don't need to set this video clip up too much. Basically, my son Walter, who's a producer for Remnant TV, spent the weekend with Dr. John Rao and just asked Dr. Rao some questions about the pilgrimage, which is coming up. We're trying to raise money for the young pilgrims, American pilgrims, who are trying to join the U.S. chapter this year. And in general, we still have about 5 spots left. So take a look at this video clip. And if you're interested in joining us, please contact us at remnantnewspaper.com. Give us a phone call, send us an email, or whatever. As I say, we only have 5 seats left. You wanna say goodbye?
Yes.
Yeah, say see you later.
See you later.
Yeah, happy trails. Thanks very much, and we'll see you next week.
My name is John Rao. I'm one of the guides for the Chartres pilgrimage underneath the leadership of Michael Matt, the editor of the Remnant. This is going to be the 24th year that we're doing the Chartres pilgrimage. For those of you who've never gone on this pilgrimage, this is a most magnificent experience. Many of us have done it year after year. I myself started in 1994, and then after a gap of a few years have begun to do it again over the past 13 years. It is extraordinary in any number of ways. First of all, obviously as a spiritual event, it is probably the most influential event devotionally that you'll ever experience in your life. Yes, it is hard. It's a very, very hard event. It takes a lot of energy to be able to do this, and often while you're walking along the way, you wonder why it is that you even began it. But once you see that Cathedral of Chartres in front of you, after having made the effort, you realize what it was all about. Our whole life is a pilgrimage, and this walking from the great church of Notre Dame in Paris to its equivalent in Chartres is something that really illustrates this fact that we're all on a pilgrimage, and that there is a final goal, and that final goal is something which is splendid, eternal life for all of us. And in the immediate experience of the event that we're talking about right now, just arriving at the Cathedral of Chartres. People make friendships on this pilgrimage, which are lasting friendships because of the fact that, again, we're with people who believe what we all believe, and we grow in our friendship in the faith along the route to Chartres. The pilgrimage itself is, once we reach Chartres, followed by this splendid Mass in the cathedral itself. And the cathedral is, as I'm sure you well know, one of the greatest achievements of medieval Christendom. We often have a tour of it afterwards, which focuses in on certain details of the cathedral, and this tour itself is worth coming for alone. But then after this is all over, we then undertake a trip. We have a trip which lasts for about a week. We stay in Chartres for a night or two afterwards. I think we're staying just one night this year, and it gives us a chance to recoup our strength, because you do need to have some sort of moment to relax after this is all over. But then we take a week-long trip. And this year what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking the trip to Switzerland. I don't believe that we've ever gone to Switzerland before, and it's therefore going to be a unique experience for us, but it certainly is a worthwhile spot for us to be going to. Switzerland was part of the Roman Empire, and then in the Middle Ages was part of the Holy Roman Empire. It became, in effect, independent in the 1400s, although it was officially part of the Holy Roman Empire until the end of the 30 Years' War. But it's a composite Switzerland of a whole variety of what are called cantons. And some of these cantons, unfortunately, became Protestant. A number of them, including the original ones, stayed Catholic. The ones that became Protestant still nevertheless have a Catholic heritage to them and are worth visiting for that reason. And the Catholic ones, the ones that stayed Catholic, are enriched still more from their medieval Catholic heritage with all of the achievements of Baroque Catholicism and the efforts of the Jesuits, the Counter-Reformation world, which helps to give them something which is even more magnificent than what the Protestant cantons have to offer. Now, everybody knows about the physical beauty of Switzerland, and it's hard to exaggerate just how wonderful that is. We will be passing through some of the most gorgeous mountain landscapes imaginable. I'm hoping that what we might be able to do is at least be able to get a drive up to the face of the Eiger Mountain. If you have a view of that mountain, which is a goal of many, many mountain climbers for a century, you've got in front of you one of the characteristic sights of Switzerland. But it's obviously things that are of importance for our Catholic heritage that we're concerned with here. And the original cantons that started the entire Swiss system remained Catholic. The ones that are in the woods, such as the canton in which the city of Lucerne is located. Lucerne is a spot that was one of the centers of the Catholic Reformation. In fact, it became a major focal point for the re-Catholicization of much of the German world. And that's located on this gorgeous lake with lovely, lovely Baroque churches. We're going to be passing through Lucerne. Switzerland has got also one of the finest and one of the very, very few rare Carolingian churches, which has remained totally as it was from the period of the 9th and 10th centuries. And those churches are churches which have the entire interior painted. Most of those churches were altered in the years afterwards, but Switzerland has got one that has remained in its original beautiful form. Towns like Schaffhausen, which unfortunately became Protestant, are wonderful, wonderful examples of what a medieval city looked like. And Schaffhausen is also famous for being the location of the Rhine Falls, the waterfall that the Rhine River is most noted for. And hopefully we'll have a chance to be able to pass by there and then take this quite dramatic walk right underneath the waterfall. There's a walkway along the Rhine that leads to it, and then you've got this chance to be able to pass right underneath the waterfall itself. The country is dotted with old monasteries and then with old pilgrimage sites. Places like Einsiedeln. Einsiedeln, because of its reputation, was the monastery that Alexander Solzhenitsyn went to after he was exiled from the Soviet Union before he came to the United States. And it's a magnificent goal for us to be able to have as well. And then we're going to have a chance also to visit Écône. And Écône, as I'm sure most of you know, is where the seminary that was established by Archbishop Lefebvre with the permission of the papacy was located and became the center point for really doing the work that has led to the statement by Pope Benedict XVI of what we always knew ourselves and what Archbishop Lefebvre had worked for with all of his heart and soul, namely the fact that the traditional Latin Mass could never have been abolished. And what it needed to have was priests prepared in the moment of crisis always to be able to say that. Without Archbishop Lefebvre and without the seminary at Écône, we would never have been able to experience the flourishing that we have now of the traditional Latin Mass, not just with the Society of St. Pius X, but with the other orders that are functioning such as the Fraternity of St. Peter and then the Institute of Christ the King. So it's a pilgrimage site for us in Cologne as well. We're extremely, extremely grateful to Michael Matt for having organized this chance for us to be able to go there this year. I haven't spoken with Michael about all of the sites that we're going to be visiting, but I believe we're also going to Liechtenstein. And Liechtenstein is probably the last remaining Catholic princely state in the world. It's a Grand Duchy, Liechtenstein, underneath the family, the Liechtenstein family. In fact, it's the family that gave the name to the country. It's not as often is the case the other way around. The Liechtenstein family acquired this territory, and then because of it were able to become princes of the Holy Roman Empire, and then play this part as such, as princes of the empire. They were always an extremely important family, but they needed to have territory that was directly underneath the emperor in order to be able to have the title of Prince of the Empire. And it is a, again, magnificent alpine setting, which has got a firm Catholic character to it, and which we, as is always the case, as a group that will be fired up with the enthusiasm that comes from taking part in this pilgrimage, that will bring a still greater added Catholic spirit to. Let me go back to the pilgrimage itself for a little bit for people who haven't ever been on it. The group gathers together at the airport in New York and then flies off to Paris as a group, so that you're already experiencing this unity as a pilgrim force en route across the Atlantic. And then when we get to Paris, what we have is a chance to be able to have Mass in one of the finest churches in Paris. We've been celebrating Mass at the Church of Saint-Sulpice, which is a gem in on the left bank, which is also most famous perhaps for its organ and its great organ music. And our chaplain will celebrate Mass for us there. We have a tour of the city of Paris, and that tour is also important for you to get your feet in order for the walk that begins then the next morning. So you arrive on a Thursday. You have all of Friday to be able to wander around Paris, and then Saturday morning, very, very early in the morning, we begin our pilgrimage with our Mass at Notre Dame. That alone is an extraordinarily moving experience, because to see all of those young people filling the cathedral the way in which the cathedral would have been filled in the ages of faith, and then filled with people who are not just there to swell the numbers, but who are real believers, and who sing, and who have their banners flying, and then to watch them as they all process out of the church to begin this arduous labor of the hike, the pilgrimage walk to Chartres, is stunning. We have Mass, not the first day when we begin with the Mass in Notre Dame, but in the second day we have Mass in the fields along the route to Chartres. That would be the day of Pentecost itself. And then you have a chance to be able to meet and mingle at the campsites with people from all over the globe, who are, by the way, all of them very, very happy to see this extremely large and faithful American chapter, which is one of the mainstays of the group. Obviously, the French are there in the largest numbers, and yet there are chapters from dozens of different countries across the entire globe. But the American chapter has always been one of the strongest chapters. It is extremely, extremely well looked after by adults, men and women. But then also, it's something to remember that every single chapter of this 10 to 15,000 member pilgrimage is a chapter of Catholic believers eager to strengthen those whose will started to fail because of the difficulties of making this walk, and everyone finds that by the time that it is finished, that they really have done something which is a stimulus for them to be able to build on in order to become true soldiers and apostles for the Catholic faith in not just the months after they return from Chartres, but for the rest of their life.